Loose install. A car seat that moves. You installed it yourself, you pulled the strap, you heard a click, and you assumed it was done. But grab the seat at the base, right where the belt path meets the vehicle seat, and push it side to side. If it shifts more than 1 inch, your child's car seat is not installed. It is sitting on your back seat. That 1-inch threshold is not an arbitrary number. It comes from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's standardized inspection protocol, and the physics behind it are brutal. In a 30-mile-per-hour frontal collision, an unsecured object inside a vehicle experiences a force multiplier of roughly 30 to 60 times its own weight. A 20-pound car seat that shifts 2 inches at rest can displace over a foot during impact, turning a protective shell into a projectile with a child inside it. A 2016 NHTSA study found that 59% of all car seat misuse involved the belt securing the seat to the vehicle. Not the harness on the child, not the angle, not the direction. The connection between the seat and the car, the part most parents assume they got right. If you are using the vehicle's seat belt to install the base, lock the belt into its locking mode. Pull it all the way out until it clicks, then let it retract while pressing your body weight into the seat. If you are using latch anchors, tighten until you cannot fit a finger between the strap and the seat. Then test it every single time you install it. Because a car seat that shifts is a car seat that fails. Forward too early. Forward-facing, it looks like progress. Your child can see you in the mirror, their legs have more room, the whole car feels calmer. Parents treat the switch to forward-facing like a milestone, something to celebrate, something that signals their child is growing up. The American Academy of Pediatrics does not see it that way. Their 2018 updated policy statement recommends that children remain rear-facing for as long as possible, until they reach the maximum height or weight limit allowed by the car seat manufacturer, which for most convertible seats means well past age 2, often to age 4 or 5. The reason is spinal anatomy. A toddler's vertebrae are not fully ossified. The spinal ligaments are more elastic. The head accounts for roughly 25% of total body length, compared to about 14% in adults. In a frontal collision, the most common type of fatal crash, a forward-facing child's head is thrown forward with enormous force while the harness restrains the torso. That disproportionately heavy head stretches the immature cervical spine beyond its tolerance. The injury is called internal decapitation. The spinal cord separates from the brainstem while the skin remains intact. It is almost always fatal, and it is almost exclusively a pediatric injury. A rear-facing child in the same collision has the crash force distributed across the entire surface area of their back, head, and neck simultaneously. The seat absorbs the child. A landmark study from the University of Virginia's Center for Applied Biomechanics found that children under 2 were 75% less likely to die or sustain serious injury in a crash when rear-facing. Your child's legs being scrunched is not a safety concern. A broken femur heals in weeks. A severed spinal cord does not heal at all. Loose harness. The harness, 5 points of contact between your child and survival, and most parents leave them loose enough to be decorative. There is a test that takes 2 seconds, and every parent should perform it every single ride. Pinch the harness strap at the child's shoulder between your thumb and index finger. If you can gather any fabric, any fold, any slack, the harness is too loose. That test was codified by the NHTSA as the standard field assessment for harness tension, and certified child passenger safety technicians use it on every inspection. The reason slack is lethal is simple physics. In a crash, the body decelerates from the speed of the vehicle to 0 in approximately 100 milliseconds. A harness with 1 inch of slack does not begin to restrain the child until that inch has been consumed, which means the child accelerates forward, unrestrained, until the strap catches. That delay generates peak loading forces that can be 2 to 3 times higher than a properly snug harness. A study published in the journal Accident Analysis and Prevention found that improper harness use increased the risk of serious injury by 3.5 times compared to correct use. The harness straps should lie flat against the child's body with no twists. For rear-facing seats, straps should come from at or below shoulder level. For forward-facing seats, at or above. The chest clip should be snug, the straps should be snug, and there should be zero ability to pinch excess material anywhere along the strap path. 2 seconds of checking, every ride. That is the cost of making sure your 5-point harness actually has 5 functioning points. Chest clip. The chest clip. It is a small plastic buckle, and it is arguably the most mispositioned safety component in the entire car seat system. The correct location is at armpit level, centered on the sternum, directly across the line of the child's armpits. Not on the belly, not near the neck, armpit level. When the clip sits too low, over the abdomen, a crash drives the buckle into the soft tissue of the stomach and liver. The liver is the largest solid organ in a child's body, and it sits just beneath the right side of the rib cage with minimal bony protection. A concentrated force from a misplaced chest clip can cause hepatic laceration, a liver tear, which produces internal bleeding that is difficult to detect and rapidly fatal if not treated surgically. When the clip rides too high, at the collarbone or near the throat, the force is redirected into the trachea and cervical structures. A 2019 analysis by the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia's Center for Injury Research and Prevention found that chest clip misposition was present in over 40% of inspected car seats, making it one of the most common and most overlooked installation errors. The clip exists for a single purpose: to keep the harness straps positioned on the shoulders during a crash so that restraint forces are distributed across the skeletal structure of the chest, the rib cage and sternum, rather than the soft organs above or below. Every time you buckle your child in, look at where that clip sits, find the armpits, center the clip between them. It takes 1 second to check, and it is the difference between a force being absorbed by bone or absorbed by an organ that cannot survive it. Wrong angle. The recline angle. For a rear-facing infant, this is not about comfort, it is about breathing. A baby's airway is roughly the diameter of a drinking straw. Their tracheal cartilage is soft, pliable, and easily compressed. Their head is disproportionately heavy relative to the neck muscles that support it. When a rear-facing car seat is installed too upright, the baby's oversized head falls forward under its own weight, and the chin presses against the chest. That single postural change can partially or fully occlude the airway. This is called positional asphyxia, and it can happen silently, without any visible distress, in a baby who appears to be peacefully sleeping. A 2015 study published in the Journal of Pediatrics analyzed infant deaths in sitting devices and found that car seats accounted for over 48% of fatalities, with airway obstruction from improper positioning as the leading mechanism. The opposite extreme, too reclined, reduces the seat's crash protection by changing the angle at which forces are absorbed. Every car seat manufacturer includes a recline indicator on the side of the seat. Some use a built-in level, some use a line that must be parallel to the ground, some use a colored ball indicator. Whichever system your seat uses, check it during installation and check it again after the seat has been in the car for a week. Because vehicle seat cushions compress over time and the angle changes. For newborns and preterm infants, the risk is highest. Many hospitals now perform a car seat tolerance test before discharge, monitoring the baby's oxygen saturation, heart rate, and breathing for 90 minutes in their actual car seat. If your hospital did not offer this test and your baby was born before 37 weeks, ask for it. The correct angle keeps the airway open and the protection intact. Both matter simultaneously, and guessing is not an option. Puffy coats. A puffy winter coat. It is 10 degrees outside, your child is shivering in the parking lot, and every instinct tells you to zip them into the thickest coat you own before strapping them into the car seat. This is one of the most dangerous things you can do. The problem is compression. A puffy coat is mostly air, insulating pockets of trapped air between layers of synthetic fill. When you buckle the harness over a puffy coat, the straps feel snug. They are not. They are snug against the coat. In a crash, the coat compresses instantly, all that air evacuates under force, and suddenly there are 2 to 4 inches of slack between the harness and your child's body. A crash test conducted by the Today Show in partnership with NHTSA demonstrated this with devastating clarity. A crash test dummy in a Puffy coat was ejected from the harness straps entirely at just 30 miles per hour. The child-sized dummy flew forward and out of the seat while the coat remained buckled in place. The coat stayed, the child did not. The Consumer Reports testing lab replicated the finding and measured harness slack of up to 3.5 inches when bulky clothing was compressed. The correct method is counterintuitive but non-negotiable. Place your child in the car seat without the coat. Buckle and tighten the harness until the pinch test passes. Then place the coat over the child backward, like a blanket, or use a car seat safe poncho designed to go over the harness. Thin fleece layers are acceptable. Anything that compresses under force is not. Your child might be cold for the 30 seconds between the front door and the car. That is uncomfortable. Being ejected from a harness is fatal. Expired seat. An expired car seat. The sticker is on the bottom or the back of the shell. A date stamped during manufacturing that most parents never look at and many do not even know exists. Car seats expire between 6 and 10 years after their manufacture date, depending on the brand, and this is not a marketing strategy to sell more seats. It is material science. The shell of a car seat is injection-molded polypropylene or high-density polyethylene. These polymers are engineered to absorb and distribute crash forces through controlled deformation. The plastic is designed to crush in a specific pattern. But polymers degrade. Ultraviolet radiation from sunlight breaks the molecular chains. Heat cycling, the daily expansion and contraction inside a car that reaches 150 degrees in summer, accelerates oxidative degradation. A study published in Polymer Degradation and Stability found that automotive-grade plastics exposed to cyclic thermal stress showed measurable reductions in impact strength after 5 years of simulated aging. The expanded polystyrene foam, the same material used in bike helmets, loses its energy absorption capacity as the cell walls become brittle. The harness webbing, typically made of polyester, degrades under UV exposure and develops microfractures that reduce tensile strength. None of this degradation is visible. The seat looks fine, it feels fine, it clicks into place the same way it always did. But its ability to perform the one function, it was designed for absorbing the energy of a crash so your child's body does not have to, has been quietly, invisibly compromised. Check the date. If the seat has expired, it is not a hand-me-down. It is waste. Replace it. Booster too early. The booster seat, it feels like graduation. Your child is bigger now, they complain about the harness, they want to be like the older kids, and the booster looks like a reasonable next step. But a booster seat does not restrain your child, it repositions them. A booster has no harness, no 5-point system, no internal restraint mechanism. Its only function is to lift the child high enough so that the vehicle's seat belt crosses the shoulder, not the neck, and the lap belt sits across the hip bones, not the abdomen. If a child is placed in a booster before their skeletal structure can support that responsibility, the seat belt becomes the injury mechanism. A lap belt that rides over the soft abdomen instead of the bony pelvis causes what trauma surgeons call seat belt syndrome. Compression injuries to the lumbar spine, bowel perforation, and liver or spleen laceration. A shoulder belt that crosses the neck can cause cervical vascular injury or tracheal compression. The minimum weight for a booster is generally 18 kilograms, about 40 pounds, but weight is only one criterion. The child must be mature enough to sit with their back flat against the seat, knees bent at the edge of the cushion, and feet on the floor for the entire ride. Not for the first 5 minutes, for every minute. A study by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety found that children aged 4 to 7 using booster seats had a 45% lower risk of injury compared to those using seat belts alone. The 5-point harness is the most effective restraint system ever engineered for a child. Keep them in it as long as the seat allows. The harness does the work. The booster delegates the work to a belt that was designed for an adult skeleton. Your child is not an adult. Their bones are not adult bones. Keep the harness until the numbers say otherwise, not until the complaints do. Every car seat in this video was installed by a parent who believed they did it correctly. 80% of them were wrong. The next video on screen breaks down the developmental signs your baby is showing you right now that most parents completely miss, and what science says each one actually means.